live broadcast on the final day of the Premier League for the 2024-2025 Premier League season. Quite entertaining, the action we did witness there, as well as some significant news. Of course, disappointments for Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, but good news for Liverpool. They are edging closer towards the signing of Florian Wirtz and that kind of thing. But in the grand scheme of things, it is really, it has been quite the climax, the end of the season in regards not to the, unfortunately, the Premier League title, but to the rest of finishing within the top 5 for teams to qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League. So allow me to test our audios and make sure everything is in place for us to get this conversation going, because otherwise it's been quite a beautiful, a very beautiful, day in the world of sport. In as far as the Premier League is concerned, it's been really quite entertaining. I mean, was it everything we dreamed the final day would be? Most definitely not, in many respects than not. But I do find that quite, very telling. A 10-point gap between the champions, Liverpool, and the second place, Arsenal, will finish second for a third consecutive season. Man City coming third with 71 points. Of course, Liverpool at 84 points and Arsenal at 74 points. There, while Chelsea, after beating Nottingham Forest by a goal to nil, that goal there does really meant a lot, and you could see the celebrations at full time for Chelsea because they had qualified for the UEFA Champions League following that 1-0 victory thanks to Levi Colwill's early second half goal that fired them into the UEFA Champions League as they beat Nottingham Forest by a goal to nil, meaning they finished fourth on the Premier League log. Newcastle managed to crawl their way into the UEFA Champions League despite suffering a 1-0 defeat against Everton at home at St. James's Park in a game in which their performance in itself was quite wanting. So beautiful stuff there. Guys, good to have you back. Anyways, I kindly like the broadcast. Let's get into the full breadth of these results and what they mean, essentially. But in a nutshell, that's what they mean. But here is the run of results. Madan Kuma says, where are you from? I'm from Kampala, Uganda. Thanks for asking. Guys, kindly like the broadcast and also consider subscribing to the channel. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel. Help support this channel by subscribing to the channel, by liking the broadcast, but also let me know where you're joining us from. What team do you support? Madan says, KK, okay. Good to have you. Thank you so much, Madan. Guys, let me know in the comment section what team you support, where you're joining us from. Let's engage before we get into the thick and depth of today's conversation in regards to everything Premier League football. Yes, just down in the comment section, you can, type the hi, where you're joining us from, what team do you support. Earlier on, what's your passion? Football is my passion. Football is my passion, and that's why I'm here talking about it. I'm broadcasting about football, so that's my passion. Watching and supporting football, that's my passion. But anyways, let's get into the run of results. Bournemouth beat up against Leicester City by 2-0. Oh, sorry. Oh, the question was, what's your profession? Apologies, Madan. I misread profession for passion. But my profession, I'm an IT guy. I do IT, so that's my profession. Anyways, Bournemouth beat up against Leicester City by 2-0 on the day. By 2-0. And then Fulham lost to Manchester City by 2-0. West Ham United beat up against Ipswich Town by 3-1, while Liverpool forced Crystal Palace in a 1-1 draw as Mohammed Salah broke the all-time broke a very long-standing goal-scoring record. I can see Jinga there. Is it Ginger or Jinga? You call yourself Ginger Spino. Ginger Spino. Hi, Ginger. How are you doing? Where are you joining us from? Kindly like the broadcast. You say you're a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Okay, that's good. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Congratulations upon winning the UEFA Europa League this week on Wednesday. Congratulations on that. But like I was saying, Mohammed Salah breaking that 46 overall goal contribution that was a long-standing, held by Andy Cole, who scored 34 goals and provided 12 assists at Newcastle. That was 1993 to 94 season. Then Allan Shearer, 94-95 with Blackburn, scored 34 goals and provided 12 assists, giving him a combined total of a goal contribution of 46. So that's the record Mohammed Salah has broken when he scored that equalizer against Crystal Palace, as he scored his 29th goal of the Premier League season with 18 assists, meaning he has an overall goal contribution of 47. So he breaks that long-standing record of Andy Cole as well as Allan Shearer. So it's been that kind of evening, but still more about the results. Manchester United beat up against Aston Villa by 2-0. Surprise result of the day for me. Everton beating up against Newcastle by 0-0, while Southampton lost to Arsenal, who beat them by 2-1. Brighton and Hove Albion have just beaten Jim's Tottenham Hotspurs by 4-1. Quite the climax of the season, but I'm sure Tottenham fans couldn't care any less following that midweek triumph, and the boys had been partying almost for the last couple of days, so it is excusable for them. Although if the case had been quite different, maybe we'll be having a different conversation altogether. So the talking points, of course, in that game between Liverpool and Crystal Palace, of course, Ismail Sarr combining with Tariq Mitchell to score a 9th-minute goal that gave Crystal Palace the lead. And then in the second half, we did have Liverpool reduced down to 10 men, as the young player of the season in Ryan Gravenberch was given marching orders, given a straight red card. And so on the day, but then Liverpool dug in deep, really, and in the 84th minute, Mohammed Salah found the equalizer with Cody Gakpo providing the assist, as they finished it 1-1 at Anfield to ensure that Liverpool are not defeated on the final day of the season, as they were being crowned champions of the Premier League for the 2024-2025 season, because it's today that they have been handed their Premier League title. So those celebrations were ongoing at Anfield. So anyways, that was that. And then in the game between Manchester United and Aston Villa also suffered a red card. Emiliano Martinez being given a red card there at the death of the first stanza. So they played the entire second half with a man less. They tried to dig in, but they could not withstand the pressure, as United gave their home fans something to believe in ahead of next season. A goal by Amadou Diallo, they are combining with Bruno Fernandes in the 76th minute to open the scoring, or to break the deadlock on the day. And then a penalty from Christian Eriksen late on in the 87th minute were enough to ensure that the Red Devils walk away with 3 points on the final day of the season at Old Trafford. Of course, we'll get time and speak about Manchester United in the grand scheme of things, but that result elevated them from 16th place to 12th place. Sorry, to 15th place, where they finished, because West Ham also managed to win their game on the day. West Ham managing to win their game on the day as they beat up against Ipswich Town by 3-1. James Ward-Prowse there on the score sheet for Southampton to open the scoring in the 43rd minute, with Gerard Bowen providing the assist. Then Broadhead did find the equalizer for Ipswich Town. Then Gerard Bowen got himself on the score sheet in the 55th minute, with Aaron Wan-Bissaka providing the assist, while Mohamed Kudus, thanks to Rodriguez's assist, scored in the 87th minute to ensure that Graham Potter's side walked away with all 3 points on the evening. In the game between Leicester City and AFC Bournemouth, the goal scorers were it was Anton Semenyo who picked a brace on the day as they beat up against Leicester City. Dinhausen and Zabani, that's two centre backs providing the assist for Anton Semenyo, who, by the way, is a target for a number of Premier League clubs, including Chelsea, Arsenal, and Manchester United, who have expressed a certain level of interest in the abilities of the player. At Craven Cottage, Ilkay Gundogan did open the scoring in the 21st minute to give Manchester City the lead, while a penalty by Erling Haaland in the 72nd minute ensured that Manchester City guaranteed their third place finish on the table with 71 points to qualify for UEFA Champions League football. Abdul Aziz is back with us. Hi, Abdul Aziz. Good to have you back. We are here discussing the climax of the Premier League, those results that we did just witness. Newcastle losing on the final day to Everton, but despite suffering that defeat, thanks to Alcaraz's goal with Myakalenko providing the assist, they managed to still call their way into the UEFA Champions League for next season, because Aston Villa on the other side lost to Manchester United by 2-0. So that was that. And then maybe, like I said, Levi Colwill scored the only goal in that one victory for Chelsea over Nottingham Forest. It was a brilliant goal in the 50th minute. And then Arsenal beating up against Southampton. Arsenal had to leave it late with Martin Odegaard coming off the bench to score in the 89th minute of the game, thanks to Leandro Trossard assist. Beautiful strike from outside the area for Martin Odegaard there to make sure that Arsenal walk away with all 3 points on the final day. But it was Kieran Tierney who has been playing his final game in an Arsenal shirt that opened the scoring in the 43rd minute, with Arsenal going into halftime with a 1-0 lead. But in the 56th minute, Stewart there scored a brilliant header to beyond the reach of David Raya to make it 1-1. And of course, Martin Odegaard, like I said, snatched all the 3 points at the death. That result means that Matt Sells conceded on the other side and David Raya conceded on this side. So they will share the Premier League Golden Glove this season, because they have both managed to keep 13 clean sheets on a very disappointing final day for Nottingham Forest. I can see somebody is asking my name. Your name is Batin. Is it Gisubizo Batin? Is that how you pronounce your name? Apologies if I mispronounce it. But my name is Robert K. Sakos. Thank you for asking, and thank you for joining us. I see that you're new here. Kindly consider subscribing to the channel, please, and also liking the broadcast. Much appreciated for the love and support. Really, really, I'll be grateful if you help me click that subscribe button and also like the broadcast. But thank you for joining us, Batin. But more importantly, also let me know where you're joining us from. I can see Naitik. Is it Naitik? Is that how you pronounce your name? Hi, Naitik. Thank you for joining us. I'm your fan. Oh, that's beautiful. Much obliged. Thank you so much. Kindly like the broadcast and also consider subscribing to the channel if it is your first time here, or if it's not your first time but you've never subscribed. Please consider subscribing to the channel and help me support what I do here by doing that action. Guys, when you join, kindly let me know what teams you support. Let's have a broader conversation. Please engage me. Can you guess my nationality? Naitik. I mean, that's a name I've never really heard of. So it would really, really be hard for me to guess. But maybe give me a continent and I'll then try to guess. Give me a continent. You say I wanted to be friend with you. That's a Batin. It's okay. We can be friends. That's okay. It's okay. Good to know. Good to know. You say Asia. I'm going to go ahead and predict that you're from India. India or India? Is India part of Asia? Yeah. I'm going to say India. Am I right? Naitik? Yes, I got it right. Good. Anyways, that's good. So that's good. At least I got one thing right today, because my predictions in some of these games were not right. So it gives me a great deal of relief Anyways, in the game between Tottenham Hotspur and Brighton and Hove Albion, despite Dominic Solanke's 17th minute penalty that had given the home side a lead going into halftime, they never managed to hold on to that as they lost miserably by 4-1. Henshelwood scored the equalizer in the 51st minute and then completed his brace in the 64th minute, while O'Reilly scored a penalty in the 80th minute, and Gomez, with Karumi Mitoma providing the assist in the 93rd minute, completed Fabian Hasler's 4-1 victory over Tottenham Hotspur. Of course, in the aftermath of winning the UEFA Europa League, Tottenham Hotspur's players and fans have been really Batin says, I am Rwandan. Oh, you're our neighbors and our brothers, so to speak. For those of you that do not know, Batin is from Rwanda. Rwanda is our neighbor in the southwest. Yes, in the southwest, down Kabale, and then you go to Gatuna border and then through to Rwanda. So, hi Batin, I'm from Kampala, Uganda, but good to have you here. What team do you support? As well as Nyati, kindly let me know, you guys, what teams do you support? I'm interested really in knowing that. And then the other game, Brentford and Wolverhampton Wanderers shared the spoils in a 1-1 draw. Brian Mbeumo there scoring his 19th goal of the season, thanks to an assist by Christian Nogard, while Munitesi scored the equalizer with Jürgen Strand-Larsen providing the assist there for him to ensure that it finished 1-1 between the two sides. So, like I said, we all know at this time that those that were relegated had already been confirmed in Southampton, Ipswich Town, and Leicester City. Then Tottenham Hotspur, of course, survived relegation. Not that they were under threat of relegation, but in any other season, my friend here, the Tottenham Hotspur fan in Jinga Spino, would have had his team facing a potential relegation. Anyways, Tottenham finished 17th, United 15th, Wolves 16th. Then the other key result was, of course, Everton beating Newcastle, but these are the teams that have qualified for next season is UEFA Champions League. Liverpool, Arsenal, Manchester City, Chelsea, and Newcastle. Now, Aston Villa have only been able to qualify, unfortunately, for the UEFA Europa League next season. And then Nottingham Forest, with their disappointing result against Chelsea, have only managed to qualify for the UEFA Conference League. So that's what that means. They are qualified for the UEFA Conference League. Remember, the UEFA Conference League final is next week on Wednesday between Chelsea and Real Betis from the Spanish La Liga. Abdul Aziz is back with us. Good to have you there, the Real Madrid fan. Abdul Aziz, I asked you for your opinion about the departure of Luka Modric and Lucas Vasquez at the end of the season after the FIFA Club World Cup. What's your view about those two leaving Real Madrid at the end of the season? Of course, they said their goodbyes to the Santiago Bernabeu yesterday after beating Real Sociedad by 2-0. Kylian Mbappe scoring a brace in that one as he scored his 30th and 31st goal of the La Liga season and his 43rd goal in all competitions. Will you see the Champions League final? Definitely, most definitely. Unless something bad happens on that day, I'm really looking forward to it between Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain. Yesterday, Paris Saint-Germain beat up against Reims by 3-0. Bradley Barcola scoring the brace in that one, as well as Achraf Hakimi as they won the Coupe de France. So, yeah, they won the Coupe de France. Then, of course, the other key result was Celtic losing to Aberdeen 4-3 on penalties for Aberdeen to win the Scottish Cup, to deny Celtic the chance to win a domestic treble. So, those were some of the interesting results. But Abdul Aziz, kindly let me know about your views on Lucas Vazquez as well as Luka Modric leaving Real Madrid at the end of the season. Excuse me, guys, forgive my bottle. I need to sometimes gallop on some water. Anyways, Carlo Ancelotti has already flown to Brazil because he does start his duties tomorrow as the Brazil national team head coach. He did say that he wants, to have, okay, not directly, but he has expressed interest in having Casemiro and Neymar back into that squad. So let's wait and see, because there's going to be a couple of international games. We've seen teams being summoned. The other day, we were seeing Thomas Tuchel being questioned over his choices of choosing Ivan Toney, summoning him, and leaving out the likes of Dominic Solanke, going on to say that he had won a cup, in Saudi Arabia and that kind of thing. So really, that was quite interesting. And so the question was, you left out Dominic Solanke and yet you're saying Ivan Toney because he won a trophy. Yes, even Dominic Solanke won a trophy with Tottenham Hotspur. But anyways, he talked about leaving out Ben White because he's going to welcome his first child. He said the due date of Ben White's wife does come around during the days of the cup and that kind of thing. But that's it for the result from the Premier League on the final day. Liverpool are champions. We know who has qualified for the UEFA Champions League. Crystal Palace will meet once again with Liverpool. That is in August for the Community Shield, the game that really curtain rises for the new Premier League season. So we'll wait to see how that fixture goes. Otherwise, it's going to be a full-blown transfer window. We're going to be giving a lot of gossip and transfer speculation in the forthcoming days. But like I said, on Wednesday, the UEFA Conference League final is up, and then on Saturday, the 31st, we'll have the UEFA Champions League final as well to be played. So that's what I can tell you on that regard. Speaking of transfers, a lot of Liverpool are drawing closer and closer to the signing of Florian Wirtz, Florian Wirtz from Bayer Leverkusen. They are yet to agree on a transfer fee, but those discussions are underway. Of course, Mohammed Salah was voted as the Premier League Player of the Season and walks away with the Golden Boot, as well as that accolade for Premier League Player of the Season. And then his counterpart in Ryan Gravenberch was voted the Young Player of the Season, the Premier League Young Player of the Season. Then Christian Eriksen, Victor Lindelof, and Johnny Evans have said their goodbyes to the Manchester United fans as they are leaving as free agents. So Victor Lindelof has offers from Italy. Christian Eriksen could most probably end up in the Major League Soccer. Let's wait and see. While Johnny Evans, I think that one may stay in may go with the Championship club. Let's wait and hear more what offers him that may come his way in regards to a potential transfer. So, anyways, about the teams that have qualified for the UEFA Champions League, I forgot to mention Tottenham. Guys, Tottenham also qualified for the UEFA Champions League by the virtue of winning the UEFA Europa League. So they are in, despite finishing 17th on the Premier League table. So they will be in next season's UEFA Champions League. So, anyways, let me see. Yes, there's Erik ten Hag will be joining Bayer Leverkusen as their new manager on a 2-year contract after he gave the green light to join Bayer Leverkusen as the replacement for Xabi Alonso, Xabi Alonso was today announced as the new Real Madrid head coach on a 3-year contract That's from now until June 2028. He does replace Carlo Ancelotti. Remember, he did start his coaching career at, I can see, PD Creations is back with us. Hi, PD Creations. How are you, my brother? Good to have you back. How have you been? It's been a couple of days since I last seen you on one of our broadcasts here. I hope you're doing well. So, like I was saying, yes, Xabi Alonso did start his coaching career after retiring at Bayern Munich. Remember, he was at Liverpool. From Liverpool, he played for Real Sociedad, and I think from Real Sociedad joined Valencia, then went to Liverpool, joined Real Madrid, where he won the La Decima. That's the 10th UEFA Champions League title in 2014 with Real Madrid, as they beat up against rivals Atletico Madrid 4-1 after extra time. And then from Real Madrid, he went to Bayern Munich, where he retired from football and returned to Madrid. You remember me? I am from India. Yes, I do remember you, PD Creations. I do remember you. What are you teaching? What am I teaching? We are talking about football. PD Creations. That's our topic on Footballtribeug here. But thanks for asking. But I do remember you, PD Creations. Although I hadn't seen you for the last couple of days. But it's good to have you back, my brother, from India there. I thank you for the love and support. Really, really much appreciated. So, like I was saying, when he retired from football, he returned to Real Madrid, where he joined the Madrid Academy, and he was the under-14 coach. From there, in 2018, he went to Real Sociedad's B team and managed them until 2022. So in October 2022, he then left and was named head coach at Bayer Leverkusen, where he found them second from bottom and guided them to a 6th place finish in that season. The following season, that was 2023-2024, he guided them to the triumph of the German Bundesliga when they went a whole season without losing a game, but also helped them win the DFB Pokal and also qualified for the UEFA Champions League for this particular season. But last season, when they played in the UEFA Europa League, again they reached the finals where they lost to Atlanta. So Xabi Alonso really will be greatly remembered at that that Bayer Leverkusen side for quite long. So today he was officially announced as the Real Madrid head coach. Then former Barcelona and ex-Atletico Madrid midfielder Ada Turan will be the new Shakhtar Donetsk manager on a 2-year contract, while returning to the UK. Arsenal are in talks with RB Leipzig over Benjamin Sesko, although the particulars of that deal are proving to be a little bit difficult. Here is what Florian Plettenberg of Sky German had to say about the deal. He says Arsenal, with Andre Bata, are currently focused on 2 top strikers, that is Benjamin Sesko and Victor Gyökeres. He says regarding Sesko, there has been recent direct contact between Bata and RB Leipzig chief Marcel Schäfer to understand the structure of a potential deal, including the release clause and other details. Both deals would be extremely expensive. He goes on to say, RB have to sell Sesko in order to generate income. Mikel Arteta and the ownership are big fans of the player. And again, this is what we've been saying almost for the last 1 month, that Mikel Arteta has preference over Benjamin Sesko, because when they were doing their due diligence or homework, he's the player they really did a lot of background work on in regards to what player best suits their playing style and system. So he is their #1 target for this summer, but should a deal fail them, then they will move on to Victor Gyökeres. Of course, it is quite unlikely that they sign both strikers because that would be a little too expensive for them. But Mikel Arteta really loves Benjamin Sesko. It is reported that his release clause could be in the region of 80 million euros, which I think would be quite affordable for Arsenal, given the circumstances of the current transfer market. But I think maybe the challenge will be on the structuring of the payment terms when it comes to the deal. Usually, different teams demand for different payment, structures. For example, we know about Dean House and Real Madrid. Real Madrid, activated his release clause of £50 million and said they will have paid they will pay the money in 3 installments as stipulated in the contract, and that should be done by the end of 2026. So usually you have that kind of deal. Manchester United have edging closer to signing Matthias Cunha for 70 million euros. That means that they have agreed on a payment structure. And usually that's in installments. Could be 3 installments of 20 million euros, depending, or it could be maybe 40 million euros upfront, and then the remaining balance comes in 2 or 3 installments, depending on the agreeable terms between the 2 parties. So that's what they are trying to assess. But Arsenal should be looking to get their transfer business quite in order as soon as possible. Then Arsenal are also in pursuit for Espanyol goalkeeper Joan Garcia, but Joan Garcia is attracting a lot of interest from the likes of Barcelona, from the likes of Aston Villa, the likes of Man United have been mentioned in that conversation among a whole host of other clubs who are interested in the Espanyol goalkeeper that has really had an impressive season. Arsenal want him as the competitor for David Raya, who has been in Arsenal's #1 goalkeeper for now 2 seasons after joining the Gunners last season, initially on loan, and then they signed him this summer permanently from Brentford. So that's that as well. But then Arsenal are also still weighing up their decision. Okay, not weighing their decision, but they are still having conversations. RIP Sukuna is back. Hi, bro. How are you doing? It's been a minute. I did miss you. How have you been? I think it's a RIP. Apologies that I read your name as RIP. My tongue is just accustomed to that. But it's a RIP Sukuna. Good to have you back, my brother. Good to have you back. Good to have you back. Thanks for the love and support. Really much appreciated. So like I was saying, Arsenal are also exploring a potential deal to sign that is Rodrigo Goes from Real Madrid, but being off-put by the players asking, wages, because he wants about 10 million euros in net wages. I would always come back. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So he wants 10 million euros in net wages, and yet Arsenal are trying to keep within certain parameters within their wage budget. So that's still what is holding up negotiations or progress on that deal. But Arsenal also have Kaoru Mitoma, Nico Williams, and Rafael Leao as on their list of potential wingers that they could make a move for this summer. But they will face competition from the likes of Bayern Munich, who are also targeting Rafael Leao as well as Kaoru Mitoma. And then for Nico Williams, it is reported that Real Madrid are equally interested, while Chelsea's interest in the 22-year-old Spaniard winger is equally publicly known that they do hold interest in the player. And now that they've qualified for the UEFA Champions League, clearly they're going to spend even more money with the hope of that Champions League revenue that will be coming their way next season. So, and congratulations to all of you Chelsea fans for the UEFA Champions League qualification. And we all know that Enzo Maresca will be staying at the club. That was reported earlier on that with or without UEFA Champions League football, he would stay with the club, but now he has achieved that. That's quite a huge milestone regardless, because we really didn't give him we did not expect that he would achieve what he's been able to achieve this season, despite having an expensive squad. He was sort of an understudy manager coming from Leicester City, having guided them to the Premier League this season. He was a bit of an understudy, really, joining a team like Chelsea, whose demands and aspirations are always going to be much bigger. So that's the gist of the conversation. But let's look at some of the reaction across the Premier League. You say you're asking, you're cool? Yes, I'm cool, my brother. Rip, I'm really cool. Hope you are too. Thanks for asking. Thanks for really asking. So let's see what's trending. Chelsea are trending, of course. They do qualify for the UEFA Champions League. Old Trafford must have been beaming. Mohammed Salah is trending for the reasons I've highlighted on. He is here with his family, his wife and 2 daughters. Then he's a Golden Boot winner, Liverpool posting that. And then he's reached the 47 record, equaling record for most goals and assists in a Premier League season at 47. So actually, he didn't break the record. He just equaled the record. That's for Allan Shearer at Blackburn, 94-95 at 47, as well as Andy Cole that was 93-94 in a Newcastle shirt, where he caught the attention of Manchester United. So, I mean, Mohammed Salah continues to do wonders. Is he a contender for the Ballon d'Or? Yes, he will be a contender, but I do not think he will win it because by the virtue of the fact that he's out of the UEFA Champions League, sort of puts him at a bit of a disadvantage. And remember, that ceremony is going to be in September in France, I think, and yet he will have to wait until December this year to then play in the Africa Cup of Nations with Egypt. So we won't get to see his contribution in regards to that. But so yeah, that's pretty much it in regards to Mohammed Salah. And then sometimes I just imagine Mohammed Salah was playing in the same team as Kevin De Bruyne, how much more he could have been able to achieve in terms of those numbers, or as far as those numbers are concerned. Then let's look at what they're saying about Chelsea. What are people saying about Chelsea? Chelsea back in the Champions League. That's all they are saying. The celebrations are on, and Chelsea fans are really, really excited, saying we are back, because that's a competition they've won twice. In 2021 with Thomas Tuchel as the manager, and then in 2012 with Roberto Di Matteo as the manager. He went on to be given a 2-year contract in the aftermath of guiding Chelsea to the triumph of the 2012 UEFA Champions League, but he was fired in his first full year in charge. And then that was in 2013, and he was replaced by Rafael Benitez Maudez as an interim. Chelsea crashed out of the UEFA Champions League at the group stages, ended up in the UEFA Europa League, which they went on to win, I think, beating up against Benfica by 2-1. So I think, yeah, that was it. So they won the Europa League. Meanwhile, they've also won the Europa League twice. The other time was in 2019 when they beat up against Arsenal by 4-1 in Baku. Really, really interesting. So the celebrations are really on for Chelsea there at the expense of Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, who could not make it through. Old Trafford is equally one of those trending topics on X in as far as sport is concerned. Ruben Amorim at Old Trafford, after 3 games in charge with 2 wins and a draw, I told you that the storm is coming. Now, after this disastrous season, I'm telling you that good days are coming. So that is what Ruben Amorim has been telling the crowd. He says, he goes on to be quoted, according to TNT Sport, if there is one club in the world that proved in the past that they can overcome any situation, any disaster, it's our club, it's Manchester United. Impassioned Ruben Amorim there, addressing the Old Trafford crowd on the final day of the season. Says, my friends are not nice. Why are your friends not nice, Rip? Why are your friends not nice? Then Johnny Evans, of course, bows out once again, having won 3 Premier League titles with Manchester United. I did win at the UEFA Champions League back in 2008. He was in that squad. He won the FA Cup. I think that was 2016. He was still in that squad. And then 2 League Cups. That was in 2017. Being one of those occasions under Jose Mourinho. And of course, he also won the UEFA Europa League. I think he was still in that squad of Jose Mario Felix Mourinho. I stand to be corrected, but that's what I do think in that regard. Then more quotes about Ruben Amorim, first of all, I want to apologize for this season. I'm really disappointed with the team. Secondly, I want to say thank you. We are very grateful for your support over the season. I know it was very hard in many games. Now we have to make a choice. Do we get stuck in the past? Because this season is in the past, it is over. We fight each other or we stick together and move forward. 6 months ago, I said the storm is coming. Today, after this disaster season, I want to tell you that the good days are coming. If there is one club in the world that has proved in the past that they can overcome any situation or disaster, it is our club, it is Manchester United Football Club. Thank you very much. See you next season. Those were some of the comments of the manager on the final day at Old Trafford. Yes. So you say not good. Okay, not good at all. What have they done to you? Anyways, guys, for me, I think I'll find time and talk about this maybe in broader context. But I'm one of those willing to give Ruben Amorim time. I think he will succeed. Given the right backing, I think he will get things in order, especially this summer. Manchester United will be a different team come next season. We do not expect them to go all the way and win a title. Not that it is impossible. We've seen teams like Leicester City do it. Last season, Nottingham Forest were battling relegation, and yet this season they've been fighting for UEFA Champions League places. So anything can happen. So give him time, be patient with him, and let him do his magic because he's capable of doing it. He's done it before. He guided Sporting Lisbon to their first Portuguese league title in 19 years. And when he came in his first season, he loaned out and sold off as many as 17 players in his first campaign. And then, brought in some players, got some players from the academy, and got them firing. And they've won what? About 3 league titles in a space of 5 years and other domestic cups. So really, for me, I say, even without that historical context, I would say give him a chance because we've seen our managers really turn the tide around. Some of the examples that we keep refreshing upon in Mikel Arteta is twice he had Arsenal finish 8th this his first half season and the second season. Now, of course, in comparison, Ruben Amorim looks worse, but you give him the time, really. And then Enzo Maresca on critics who doubted the Chelsea squad. Well, in English, I would say F off to all of them. That's according to James Oli. Too big a word to use anyway. But he came out guns blazing. I mean, he's just practically raised the middle finger to those that, counted him off with his squad. And yet he's done it. They've achieved UEFA Champions League football. They've qualified. So, and yet, yes, Chelsea are going to be playing. No, apologies. So I think given the squad he's had, Maresca, yes, that would be the bare minimum, but that's easier said than done. But yes, Chelsea are going to be playing in the FIFA Club World Cup. They'll be representing the Premier League or UK alongside Manchester City. So he matches on. So looks like it's going to be a bit of a long spell for him because look at it this way. The season is done. That's the Premier League season. But on Wednesday, they have a game to play against Real Betis in the UEFA Conference League finals. And then they won't even take a break, really. I do not think they will get time to take a break. They'll kickstart preparations for the FIFA Club World Cup and then move on to that and play that competition for 1 month. I'm really waiting to see how clubs that are going to play at the FIFA Club World Cup sort of cope with a very minimal preseason and then get going the following season. Because I think there will be a space of about 1 month or 5 weeks before the following season begins. Maybe 1.5 months for La Liga teams, because Italian Serie A and Spanish La Liga tend to start a week after the Premier League has started. So maybe they get a little bit more rest, but I'll be eager to see how those teams sort of kick off next season on the backdrop of playing so many games and having quite a short, pre-season. So I can't wait to see how that, uh, goes on. Then, of course, big celebrations according to scenes from the Chelsea dressing room in regards to achieving UEFA Champions League football. A couple of years ago, Arsene Wenger said uh, qualifying for the Champions League was like a trophy, and many of us dismissed him, we criticized him for saying that, and yet today it does feel like a title. Teams celebrate it like it is the equivalent of winning a title because of the gravitas it holds for a team to qualify for the UEFA Champions League, the financial resources that come with it, and that kind of thing. So really interesting to see. And Chelsea are that kind of team that have a very broad squad. Tony Boli and Richie James were there embracing quite passionately. They do have a broad squad. We've seen it this season. They were able to field at least 3 different teams across different competitions in the Premier League, in the UEFA Conference League, as well as the domestic cup competitions. And they really try to compete on all fronts. So another season for Enzo Maresca to get things to get even better, in as far as getting this Chelsea side back to the top. So let's wait and see. Now, there is a photo that is trending of Mohammed Salah hugging a match official. I do not know whether it was the center referee or the linesman, but I mean, for people that want referees to be impartial, it's not a picture we would want to see. That kind of embrace, yes, it is okay to shake hands with them after a game and that kind of thing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Anyways, it is what it is. Make of it what you want, but that's the case. So apologies, guys. I just read something that was really funny. So these are the winners. Kylian Mbappe wins the European Golden Boot as the best goal scorer for 2024-2025. UEFA Champions League Golden Boot won that. But is that done and dusted? We still have a final to play. Who knows? Somebody goes and scores a hat-trick there. But he's scored a combined 42 goals. All competitions, 42, 43. I stand to be corrected on the exact number. But La Liga, he did win the Golden Boot there. And then, anyways, let's leave that at that. So let's wait and see. This is according. Remember, anyways, guys, I will get time to speak about Manchester United in full. They're signing Matthias Cunha. They're interested in Liam Delap for striker, Victor Gyökeres, and all these kinds of names. We all know there's going to be a massive exodus. At least that is what I expected. I expect to happen at Manchester United. And just to run you through, it is Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Anthony, Alejandro Garnacho, Johnny Evans, Lindelof, Luke Shaw, Casemiro could be on his way out. All those are players that are going. Altai Bendia could leave because Tom Heaton was signed, his contract was extended. Andre Onana could leave and then Bendia stays. So again, let's wait and see how things happen there. So many players will be leaving Manchester United. Rasmus Højlund being linked with a move to Napoli, as well as Juventus and Inter Milan. Remember, Juventus are going to part ways with Dusan Vlahovic at the end of the season. So he's been once again linked with a potential move to Arsenal. But I think Arsenal have since moved away from that ever since he snapped them when they wanted to sign him from Fiorentina, and he went on to join Juventus instead. at that time when they also wanted to sign Manuel Locatelli. So really, that's the expectation. And then this is according to David Austin. If Newcastle get UEFA Champions League today, Alexander Isak is going nowhere. If they don't, some suitors may think there is a slight chance that they could test the waters on that front. I think that was to be expected that that Alexander Isak was going to stay at Newcastle for me. Even without Champions League, a deal could have been too expensive for any suitors. But we can never say never in football. You remember when PSG just woke up and went and paid 220 million euros at the release clause for Neymar, and they took him out of Barcelona. So really, let's wait and see what the transfer window will have to offer in as far as this season, this summer is concerned. Remember, it is going to open a bit early. And then this is again according to David Austin. Aston Villa to complain to Premier League over referee appointment for Manchester United game. Aston Villa plan to make official complaint to Premier League after loss to Manchester United denies club Champions League qualification. Aston Villa feel a more experienced referee should have been selected to officiate game of such magnitude. Premier League have been approached for comment, but have yet to make a comment. That's according to The Athletic. And then we spoke about, Ruben Amorim telling Garnacho that he ought to leave the club, and then that is it. Then there is a comment here that is so bad for Aston Villa. Even if the whistle has blown before, it shouldn't matter. Common sense should prevail, and the goal from Rodgers should have stood. The club will now miss out on hundreds of millions, and the fans have to dwell on that decision all summer. The referee should never be allowed to take charge of a Premier League game again. And then they use the F word on Pitchmore because of that incident in the Aston Villa game. Anyways, guys, it's going to be really a heated night. Of course, Aston Villa fans will really feel disappointed in regards to some of the decisions that have been made today in their game, in their 2-0 loss against Manchester United. But I'm trying to find more feedback on that, comments and stuff like that. But let's wait and see. Most of them are, Arsenal have got a decision to make. We know about that. Most of the comments are still about Alexander Isak, about So, anyways, guys, allow me to wrap it here. We are 15 minutes into the broadcast, and allow me to wish you guys a wonderful rest of the night. And let's do this again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Bye-bye for now. Have yourselves a blessed night.